Everything looked fine. I walked out to Las Ramblas, my breath fogging just slightly in the morning chilled sea air, and paused. 10 meters down, 3 men in sanitation overalls and rubber boots were rolling up a dripping hose. The cobblestones were still slick from their work. I stood silently and didn't let them notice me. They finished with the hose, got in a truck, and drove off. When the sound of the engine had faded, it was followed only by silence, and I smiled, pleased to have the city to myself for a while. I strolled east into the Barri Gothique, the Gothic quarter. I sensed I had arrived during a tenuous interlude between the departure of the night's last revelers and the morning's first arrivals, and I paused, enjoying the feeling that I was privy to some secret transition. I wandered for a long time, listening to my footfalls on the narrow stone streets, enjoying the aroma of fresh bread and ground coffee, watching as the area's residents gradually emerged from behind the centuries-old facades of scarred but stalwart dwellings to start another day. After a breakfast of croissants and coffee cortado, I paid a visit to Ganaveteria Roca, a famous cutlery store I'd read about while preparing for the trip. There, among the pewter razors and steel scissors and related items, I selected a bench-made folder with a 3-inch blade. I'd gotten used to carrying a knife in the last year or so, and no longer felt comfortable without something sharp close at hand. Now properly outfitted, I started my customary systematic exploration of the city. I wouldn't feel at ease here until I had learned how best to blend, or how to escape should my attempts at blending fail. So I went everywhere, that day and for the 5 days and nights after, at all times, by all means of transit. I absorbed the layout of the streets and alleys, the location of police stations and security cameras, the rhythms and rituals of pedestrians and tourists and shopkeepers. But there were so many distractions. The mingled smell of tapas and shawarma among the winding alleyways of El Raval, the sounds of music and laughter echoing in the public squares of Gracia, the feel of the sea breeze on my face and in my hair on the peaks of Montjuic and Tibidabo. I liked that the locals took for granted morning mass in 600-year-old cathedrals. I liked the contrasts, Gothic and Modernista, mountains and sea, historical weight and exuberant esprit. And the distractions weren't limited to the city itself. I was also suddenly aware of parents with infants. They were everywhere, walking their babies in strollers, holding them in their arms, gazing at their small faces with crippling devotion. Tatsu, my former nemesis and current friend in the Keisatsucho, the Japanese FBI, had warned me this would be the case, and, as in so many other matters, he had been right. What Tatsu hadn't prepared me for, what he couldn't, were the 1,000 other ways his news about Midori had left me ambivalent, confused, almost in shock. I had nearly canceled with Delilah, but then decided not to. I owed her an explanation, for one thing. I still wanted to see her, wanted it a lot, for another. I never could have predicted the affection I developed for Delilah, or that she seemed to have developed for me. Certainly, our initial encounters were inauspicious. First, there was Macau, where we learned we were working the same target. Then Bangkok and Hong Kong, where she was supposed to be working me. And yet the inherent mistrust born of working for competing intelligence organizations, Delilah for the Mossad, and I, freelance at the time for the CIA, had paradoxically provided a stable foundation. Each of us recognized in the other a professional, an operator with an agenda, someone for whom business imperatives would always trump personal desire. All of that became the basis for respect, even mutual understanding, and ultimately provided the context for the indulgence of undeniable personal chemistry. The sex couldn't lead anywhere, we both knew, so why not enjoy what we had, whatever it was, for as long as it lasted? But it did last, and it deepened. We spent a month together in Rio, after which Delilah had defied her paymasters when they ordered her to set me up. Defy, hell, she had very nearly betrayed them. She'd warned me what was coming, and then worked with me to straighten things out. There must have been something between us, something worthwhile, if we had managed to avoid so many potential